Yes, thank you. Thank you, everybody. Thank you, my students. I'm always teaching. They have requested me to share some videos on YouTube. Yes, you can follow me on YouTube. You can follow me on Facebook. Yes, today's lesson is about hardware, but specifically on what we call motherboard. I have the motherboard here. This is a motherboard. This motherboard is the main circuit of the computer. Therefore, since the motherboard, it houses a lot of components. Therefore, it's the mother of each and every component. Most components are attached here. Okay, we have this type. We have different types of motherboards. Uh, right now, I'll show you this Maturin motherboard, and here I'll begin with the RAM. Here, this is the RAM slots, but what enters here is what we call RAM. And these RAMs are in different categories. We have SDR RAMs, that's what we call SDR RAMs. When we talk of the SDR RAMs here, we talk of SDR RAMs. This is what we call synchronous. This is dynamic. This is random. This is access, and this is memory. Okay, and this is of two notches. And under that one, these are found in the Pentium 1, Pentium 2, and some of the Pentium series. Then we have DDR RAMs. DDR RAMs. This is double data random access memory. This one, memory. And these ones are of three categories. We have DDR1, this is one notch. We have DDR2, this one DDR2, this one DDR2, and we have DDR3. You can see the gaps in between are not the same. You can see they are not the same. You can see they are not the same. So it means that DDR1 we have Pentium 3 and Pentium 4. Then DDR2 is a Pentium 4, some of Pentium 4, core and dual cores. Okay, the difference between core and dual core, core 2 and this dual core 2 and dual core. Okay, then this one are for i3, i5 and i7. This and this one they vary in what we call the speed. This one have high speed. This one is somehow speed, but this one are of low speed, and the capacity is low. And these are these are 2 GBs and above, 4 GB, 6 GBs. Okay. Go back to our hardware. We have what we call the BIOS. This one here. You can see the BIOS. This motherboard is manufactured called AMBIOS. Its manufacturer. This one, AMBIOS. We have other manufacturers like Compaq, like Phonex, like Award. All those are what we call manufacturer of the motherboards. We have HP now have come in place. We have Lenovo in place. We have Acer in place. Okay, you can know the manufacturers of the motherboard, the manufacturer motherboard on them when you read here on the motherboard, and it is a chip, big chip. This BIOS is the best input output system. It has a lot of functions. One, it manages the computer's operating system. It coordinates the hardware components with other components like the RAM, like the hard disk, the keyboard. Okay, so then we have the mouse altogether. Yes, all these ones they do coordinate the work of the BIOS. And have the CMOS. This is like CMOS. Sorry. This one here, CMOS battery, and it sits in the CMOS chip here. Okay, this one contains charges, meaning that it keeps the computer up to date. Well, next time in the next lecture, we shall talk about the BIOS and the CMOS. Because this one they do work hand in hand. This one keeps time. When you find that the time is wrong to this one, a computer may fail to work because of the CMOS. A computer may start and reach some functioning. When you call me, I'll just say, okay, the computer is like this. I'll just bring a CMOS and put inside. Then the computer will work. You set time and date. It again goes back to the previous date and previous years. It means the CMOS is wrong. This is called CMOS, complementary metal oxide semiconductor. This one here. And sometimes this one, a computer may give you headache. It may fail to work. It may do each and every sorts of kind because of this. So you need to be careful when you are repairing. I'm telling those guys of technicians. Then we have here, we have what we call the USB serial ports. We have the parallel ports. We have the VGA, video graphic adapter. We have the PS2, personal system unit. Here, personal system 2. We have the sound cards here. We have the expansion slots here. Actually, now we have types of expansion slots. We have the PCI. We have the PCI, peripheral component interconnect express. We have the AGP in full, it is accelerated graphic port. We have another one, we have the ISA found in Pentium 1 and Pentium 2. ISA, it is instruction standard architecture. Yes. And now newer boards contain what we call PCI Express. This one here is the PCI Express. And most boards now contain this and this. You'll find that these ones are in Core 2, Dual Core, i3, i5, and i7. But these ones here are now in Pentium, Pentium 3 and below. Okay, we have the capacitors here. We have the jumpers. These jumpers, they do complete the circuit. These jumpers play a lot of role. Once the jumper are not there, sometimes the computer may not start, or these may not work. Even some of us who have dealt with what we call IDE hard disks, these ones here, this is the IDE connector, this is IDE hard disk. Sometimes configuring it is very difficult, but you need to read on the manufacturer's instructions. This IDE is called integrated drive electronics. We have another drive here. It's also an IDE drive. You can see we have a jumper here. This jumper makes the computer either to be, it makes the drive to be either a slave or a master. A master serves a master is the master of another drive. So you can configure when you have an IDE cable. Okay, I don't have an IDE cable here, but I will show you an IDE cable. Next time I'll show you the IDE cable. I have only the SATA cable. This SATA cable comes and enters here. You can see in what we call SATA connector. And what is SATA in full? Serial Advanced Technology Attachment. This one here. And we have this is the drive of the SATA. This one will come and enter here like this. Then I need to provide the power for it from the power supply. Okay. Next time I'll show you different types of components. Then from there we shall learn about the BIOS. BIOS is very important. It coordinates even the flow of data within the computer. It is the work of the BIOS. This one here, these are what we call buses. These lines you can see, these lines here, these are buses. We have two types of buses. We have the address bus, the control bus, and data bus. Okay. Then inside here, inside the CPU fan, this is CPU fan. We have what we call the deep sink or the hot sink. Inside we have the CPU, what we call the processor. A CPU can be called the processor another name. And inside there we have three types of we have components of the CPU. One, we have the ALU, arithmetic logic unit. We have the control unit, and we have the register inside here. And all these lines here, they end up on this memory and onto the CPU, which means data is flowing between the CPU and the memory. Then I said the address bus, it addresses the size of the data to be transferred. The data bus takes the data, how much more data should be taken. Now here you go to what we call 32 and 64-bit system bus or system computers or system motherboard. Then the address bus, it addresses what data is to be next to be executed or to move to the next point for execution. Therefore, address bus is the mono direction, while these other data bus and control bus, these are bio directions. Yes, we continue. We have the bridges. When I get my board like this and I draw a compass, like this, okay, then this will be front, this will be behind. So this is the northern, this is southern. Therefore, this one here, it is a north bridge and must be deep synced. Why? Because it receives, it bridges, the bridge bridges the gap between the components. So it receives what we call components with current. The printer cable attached here, the network cable comes here from the switch with the current. You can see from the switch with the current altogether. Then we have the sound card. We have the USBs here being attached here. The external hard disks like this being attached here like this here. So this one will be having current traveling through it. Therefore, it must be having a deep sync. So because it's like a microprocessor, we have the south bridge here. South bridge bridges the connectors here only, because like this one, it has less current, and actually this current can be around like 5V here, and here's the power supply source here. Then we have the power control switch here. Then we have the oscillators. These are called the oscillators. We have the capacitors. We have the different types of chips. These are called chips. These one here. These chips are smaller than the BIOS chip. Then we have the diodes here. These are replaceable. You can replace these ones here. But once, let me tell you this. Never you joke with the BIOS. The BIOS is the heart of the computer. If the processor is the brain of the computer, then the BIOS is the heart of the computer. So this one, once it gets a problem, you cannot replace this one. Meaning the motherboard is gone. And most of the time, sometimes these clone computers, they die because of the BIOS. When the BIOS fails to start, then you never see it. The computer starting. Thank you. Then we shall learn more about the motherboard next time, mostly on the BIOS, and I'll tell the uses of the BIOS, what is the responsibility of the BIOS, and you'll learn more and you'll enjoy. You can follow me at YouTube, even on Facebook at kiad.com, on Facebook Chirunji Richard. You can type there, you can give comments, and you can correct me on YouTube then we shall learn more lessons about the hardware. Thank you.